Hi everyone, I am Shweta. It's been 3 years since I've been a certified Pilates instructor. I've been certified in all equipment including mat, reformer, there's chair, Cadillac, ladder barrel and a lot of other Pilates equipment. But today we are going to talk about this most versatile equipment called a Pilates Reformer. First, we'll go over different parts of the equipment, the anatomy of the reformer itself, and then we'll do a few movements to see how each part of the reformer is being used and how it can be modified to make a particular movement harder or easier. Alrighty, to begin with, you should know the reformer is nothing but a bed. Joseph Pilates started or created this equipment in a hospital bed during World War II, where he put just a handful of springs on the hospital bed to the frame, and he used those springs to let the soldiers, the injured soldiers, work using those springs. So it has been inspired from there. So it's basically a bed, but with a moving carriage. We have wheels under the carriage which helps with moving the carriage back and forward. And this particular bed is attached to the frame. This can be a wooden frame or a metal frame depending on the brand itself. The carriage is attached to the frame with different types of springs. Each color represents a particular load. We call them half spring, full spring, double springs, and each color of the spring depends on the brand. It's not universal, but springs play a major role in the whole reformer class, in the whole reformer equipment, because think of springs as adjustable weights. The more load you add, the higher the weight it is, and the lesser springs you add, the lesser the resistance is. It doesn't mean that if you add more weight, the movement becomes harder. It depends on the movement itself, whether you want to decrease the spring tension or increase the spring tension. And we have a foot bar here. As the name suggests, it's for our feet. This is adjustable. They have different settings depending on the height of the person working on the reformer. This helps the person working on the reformer work in their own range of motion. They have more space if the foot bar is lower down, and they have lesser space if the foot bar is upright or in a 90-degree angle. And then we have a platform here. We can use the platform to stand up on the reformer and do some standing movements. And we have these straps. These straps play a major role in our reformer classes. We usually have two different straps, one long straps and the short straps. Long straps are usually used for feet, and short straps are usually used for arms, but they are interchangeable depending on the person. There is no particular rule that you have to use those straps for upper body or lower body itself. And we have two blocks here on the carriage. These are called shoulder blocks, and as the name suggests, your shoulders go against it. So when you push the carriage away against the load, your shoulder blocks are here to assist you to push the carriage away. And then we have a headrest. Usually all reformers have at least 3 settings, and you can move the headrest depending on how you feel in your neck. You want to be comfortable as you be on the carriage in your supine position, which is on your back. These are the main parts. This is the anatomy of the reformer itself. Now I'll demonstrate a few different movements in different body positions to see how each part of the reformer plays a role in a particular movement. Alright, to begin with, I have the foot bar in a position where it is perfect for my height. I am going to add 2 full springs. That means I'm going to add 2 red springs in my case, where red is a full spring and I'm adding 2 full springs. To begin with, we are going to center ourselves on the reformer bed. We are going to lie down. Our shoulders go against the shoulder blocks, and I am centered on the reformer. Head goes onto the headrest. If it feels good, you can always bring your headrest up a little bit. And my feet are on the foot bar. If you see, my feet are at a 90-degree angle. That is where we usually expect our bodies to be, and we can adjust the foot bar to come to this angle depending on the height of the person working on the reformer. Now for the foot bar, for the first movement, we are just doing basic footwork where we are pressing the foot bar away and bending our knees to come back in. So the way this particular movement is working. It's like squats, but with less pressure on our knees or on our joints here, since we are on our back in our supine position. Now, while pressing the foot bar away, we are pushing the carriage away against the springs. The springs are trying to pull the carriage back in, whereas we are working against the load to press the carriage away. So, the more the springs, the more the load. So, I usually add more springs for double feet work, but today for demonstration, I just have 2 springs. You can always bring one leg to tabletop to make it a little harder by keeping the same load, but pressing the carriage away with just one foot. We are making the movement a little harder, more load on one foot than both the feet. We can do different movements here, different footwork by using the springs, by using the spring tension and working against the load. Right, that's where we use the foot bar. Now, keeping the same load, let's see if we can do our upper body work. So, I'm going to use our straps here. Like I said, for upper body, we'll use the short straps. We are holding both the straps here. Now, we have 2 full springs. I'm going to use both the straps here. Just like our upper body, just like our lower body, we want to pull this carriage away against the load. To use our upper body, we are going to take the feet off of our foot bar and come into this tabletop position. Now, mind you, because we are in our tabletop position, there is no support for the feet. We are using our core to support the weight of our legs. So, we are already doing a lot of core work here. Now, by pulling the straps down, we are bringing the carriage away. That means we are opening up the springs. And as we lift our hands up, we are resisting. Pull the springs down, the springs are open. Now, the springs are trying to pull the carriage back. So, we are resisting as we lift our hands up. So, that's where the work is happening. We are pulling it down, but we are also resisting as the springs are trying to pull the carriage away. The same thing, we can do the same with our feet. We're going to use the long straps, bring our feet into our long straps. Oh, feet and straps are my favorite. The same principle applies here. We want to try and open the springs. Now, we want more load. The more the load, the harder it gets for movements like this. We'll just do our bend and extend, bending our knee, stretching it out. Now, as you stretch your legs out, you are opening up the springs, pushing the carriage away. Now, your springs are trying to pull the carriage in. You are resisting as you bend your knees. So, the load is on the springs. We are trying to work against the load by resisting and not letting the straps pull. We can do a whole bunch of movements here, lifting our legs, lowering them down, making big circles. We can do frog legs. We can just stretch, open out and stretch. Whew, that feels amazing. Now, the springs are pulling the carriage in. So, if you remove the straps, it's going to pull all the way into the frame. So, we are going to be careful, remove one strap, bring your foot onto the foot bar and then remove the other strap so that we can safely close the carriage. All right, we are going to get off of the reformer. We have done some movements where we want load, right? With the more the load, the harder it gets. I want to show you a movement where the lesser load makes more sense. We'll do something called a down stretch, where we are coming up on the reformer. Your feet are against the shoulder blocks here. For this one, we're going to bring our hands. We still have 2 full springs. We're going to bring our hands on the foot bar and bring our waistline forward like we are in a plank position. Now, by being in this plank position, you want to press the carriage away. It's very hard to press out and come back in. Now, by having more springs, the work is being done with our hands. The more load is through the springs. We are trying to press the carriage out, open the springs which are heavy. Now, if you can go down to 1 full spring, we have 1 full spring, less weight. That means we are able to press the carriage out easier than 2 springs and come back in. But what this does is the spring is not pulling the carriage in. So, we are able to stay there, pressing the carriage out, feel that core working, feel those shakies and slowly come back in. So, the lighter the weight here, especially during movements like this, during your core work, sometimes you want lesser springs where it makes sense to have lesser load so that your core or a part of your body is working harder to bring the carriage back in rather than the springs. So if you have higher load, your springs will pull the carriage in easier. We don't want to do that. We want to try and pull the carriage in by ourselves. I used to hate lunges. I used to hate lunges when I was doing just the forward lunges or with the weights. But Reformer made lunges really special for me, especially because I have support of the carriage during the movement. Like for example, we are holding onto the foot bar, bringing our foot here. Now the easiest way is to keep, or the basic or the starting beginner way is to keep our knee on the mat. We are going to just bend our knee, go into a lunge and come back up. Nice and easy. Now you want to make the lunge harder, add more springs. You want to make the lunge even harder, lift your knee off of the mat. We can do variety of layers for each movement that makes the movement more challenging, and it can be done through different means. We can use long straps instead of short straps for some of the arm movements to make it less challenging. The range of motion will be less with long straps rather than short straps, things like that. We can do a lot of things, lot of changes, lot of layers for a lot of movements. The Pilates Reformer is the most versatile, my most favorite. I can't wait for all of you to try the Reformer, hopefully in my studio someday. But otherwise, if you are able to have a Reformer at your home, you don't have to have a full equipment. You can have foldable Reformers, you'll have a basic Reformer. Ping me if you want to know more about different varieties of Reformers. But if you can have a Reformer around you, if you can attend Reformer classes, it will change the way that you see workouts. I've tried different kinds of workouts throughout my lifetime, and I've been working out since more than 10 years now, different kinds of workouts, either cardio, either strength training, Zumba. I've tried everything. Oh, one more interesting part. We have a couple of accessories. We have a box that can go on the Reformer to do different, more kinds of movements. And we also have a jump board that actually goes against the frame, and you can do cardio on the Reformer, laying on your back. It will be less stressful on your joints, but good for your heart. And if I keep talking about Reformer, I'll have a lot of things to say. I think these are the few basic ones that I wanted everyone to know. I don't want anyone to feel intimidated with it. I know we only see a lot of celebrities working with Pilates equipment, or we see young people, fit people working on Reformers, but trust me, I have trained varieties of people, especially people with injuries who are recovering from injuries, prenatal people, postnatal people, and also elder citizens. It is amazing for elder people, because since we are on our back most of the time, since we have the support of the equipment itself, the pressure on the joints is less compared to other workouts, I guess. So it's really good for senior citizens. I've trained 70 plus women, 70 plus years of women, and I've seen them improve their range of motion. The main I guess the main motivation for working out should be our lifestyle, our day-to-day living. We want to live in a comfortable way. We want to get our own groceries out of the car. We want to lift our kids up without having any back pain, or we want to do our day-to-day chores without feeling stressful. And I think Pilates is a great way to start working out or get stronger, increase your range of motion, and have more mobility, and just be fit in general. All right, that is it for now. That was my rant, I guess, but I want to really mention that movement is the key, guys. I know even for me, I keep saying movement is the key, but every week my belly grows. I see a different symptom each week, and it's getting harder and harder to go to the gym or just come upstairs and do a workout session. It's just getting harder, and I understand it's easier said than done. But I would really emphasize on movement is the key. If I don't move for a day and be a couch potato, I feel discomfort and pain in the parts of the body I didn't even realize I have. Move a little bit. We don't need fancy equipment. We don't need anything. A 15 minutes workout is more than enough for our body to start moving, especially if you're pregnant like me. I hope you're moving and taking care of yourself, and hope to see you all in rest of my other videos. I'll have more Reformer classes coming up, and If you have any questions or comments, just leave a comment here or feel free to ping me on Instagram. I will reply as soon as I can. Bye and take care, you guys.